40 years ago, Hamilton was just a stop for travellers travelling between Auckland and Rotorua, and the intention was to create a world-class garden that would enhance the reputation of the city and help support a local visitor industry. And it's been achieved to some degree. Last year, TripAdvisor, based on thousands of reviews, rated Hamilton Gardens in the top 1% of attractions in the world, one of only 3 New Zealand attractions that met that standard. Lonely Planet have just printed a book on world-class gardens, and Hamilton Gardens features in that. And there's certainly a lot more potential. As we've added new gardens over the years, people have stayed longer. And we're at a tipping point now where each new garden means that more people stay a night or 2 nights, with a big economic benefit for the region. That's been achieved through 3 things. One has been the incredible amount of community support. Hundreds, literally hundreds of individuals, companies and community groups have helped with the development of the gardens. Secondly, we've got a regional concept, unlike anything else in the world. It tells the story of gardens, all the major forms of gardens that have been developed by humanity over the last 5,000 years. And thirdly, those gardens are being made with a certain amount of integrity, design integrity. The amazing thing about those gardens is they each developed in response to a major transformation, like the early humanist movement or the humanitarian movements, things like the Renaissance, the Reformation, the Enlightenment. Major transformations where populations saw the world through a different lens, and it led to profound changes that have shaped the modern world. And 4 of those major changes were the spread of the major religions. The proposed Verdict Garden reflects the ancient Indian civilization with the roots of Hinduism. The traditional Japanese garden reflects many aspects of Buddhism, created by Buddhism, that spread down the Silk Roads from India. The Indian Chabar Garden symbolises the paradise described in the Quran, and it spread with the Islamic Empire. And the medieval garden, we're standing on the site of the next garden, this medieval garden. It reflects the thinking of the medieval age, which is roughly from 600 to 1500. And 3 particular aspects are reflected in that garden. One is the piety, study and prayer. Second was protection and looking after strangers. And the third was superstition, particularly around geometry and maths and numbers. So we've got 2 of the important kinds of garden from that era. They were monastic gardens. One was the Cloister Garth, right in the centre of a monastery. It was located next to the main church, and it was a place where monks studied and discussed the Bible. And it was really a minimalist garden designed for the faithful, with the emphasis on the sky. The other was the garden I'm standing in, the Apothecary Garden, which was next to the infirmary, and it grew plants for cures and painkillers. And it was a place, infirmary was a place where strangers, wounded and diseased strangers, were helped. And the third aspect was the geometry, and you can see that in this garden, which is a perfectly square garden, lined to the points of the compass. A central round pool, ornate pool, represented Mary, and then there was a pentagonal fountain that had represented the 5 wounds of Christ, 5 lobes of an apple, the transit of Venus and other things like that. The medieval world has inspired all sorts of fiction, including science fiction films, partly because it was a strange, brutal world with all sorts of magic and mystery.
We're so close to realising the medieval garden and would love your support and your donations to help us complete it and get it over the line. Thank you very much.